Greetings, Minecrafters! I am Nate T. Bird, and welcome to the first episode of the Let's Make a Map Together series. That's not exactly what it's going to be called, but just bear with me. So, in this series, I will be making my 1,000 subscribers special map with you guys. So, this is the first ever map making series that I've ever done, so it might not be the best quality, but bear with me and hopefully we can get through this. If you have any suggestions on things that I can improve on or just things that you'd like to see, then please let me know in the comments and I will do my best to improve for the next episode. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get out of this mode. And let's start making a map. So right here I have my template world. This is a world that is available for download. Essentially, it takes care of all of the spawning and just making sure that players are introduced to the map in the correct way. So that's where we're going to be building this map. I've already changed the name, and it is available to download, as I said, down in the description. So make sure you check that out. There's also a bunch of options for game rules. You can have teleports, change the time, different difficulties, and just a bunch of different things. And then this is probably the best part of the map template. We'll get to that in a later date. So to start a map, how do you start a map? That is a very interesting question. It all starts with an idea. So for this map, my idea is to create a boss battles map. So for my 100 subscriber special, I took inspiration from the number 100 to create an arena map where you had to fight 100 monsters. So in this map, I'm taking my inspiration from the number 1000, and I'm going to create a boss battles map where each boss has 1,000 health. And I'm going to also try to program the boss battles so that they are more interesting and challenging, but yet fun in their own ways. So now that I've explained a little bit more about the idea, we can start discussing the layout. So let's head on down here to the lobby. This is where people will go to actually play the map. And right now you'll see that it is kind of empty and barren. Well, that's how it's supposed to be. We need to build it so that it's what it's going to be like in the end. So I'm thinking that we'll have this little lobby area, and the lobby will be connected to the actual arena where you'll fight the boss. So there'll be a big arena right here, and players who are in the lobby will be able to see the arena and essentially spectate the players who are actually fighting a boss. So we're going to build that and design that so that players can spectate while they wait. I also want to have classes because in my mind, classes just make all maps better. Well, most maps better, especially for arena maps and boss battle maps. So there's going to be different classes. Oh, and by the way, these boss battles are not going to be like just giant statues. They're going to be the actual mob, kind of like the boss battle in Cryptcrawler, but much better. I feel like that one kind of fell a little bit short. So we're going to make some improvements. So let's create a quick little layout. Here's the lobby. Just imagine that this is this whole area right here. And then it'll be connected to the boss room or the arena. And then I'm thinking that it'll just be kind of like a square. And so this will be connected to that. And you probably choose your classes from this area right here. And then maybe while you're in the arena, you would choose the boss. No, you would need to choose which boss you're fighting before you enter the arena. So, there'll probably be a room where you can click to choose your class. So you'll choose your class in here. And then once you choose your class, you'll be teleported in here where you can, essentially this will be like the queue, or I'm imagining a dugout, kind of like for baseball. So this is where the players go to wait to fight the boss. And so in here they will be able to choose which boss they fight And also, if there is a boss fight going on right now in the arena, then they'll have to wait for that to end. But then once the boss fight does end, then they'll be able to choose the boss, and everybody in this room will be teleported into the boss fight. So it'll be multiplayer friendly, so you can fight the boss with your friends. So that's the basic layout, and as you can see, I have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to crack on with that, get that done, and I'll bring you back when that's finished. And there you have it. The arena is essentially built. I know it looks terrible, but all I was trying to do was get the basic layout done so that we could have a better understanding of where the things are going so that we can start programming some of the actual boss fights. So when the player logs in, or this is where they're going to go. When they first join the game, they'll appear right here, and they'll be able to view the arena. Come over here, they can choose their class, and I'm thinking I'll probably only have like 4 or 5 classes. I feel like the less classes you have, the more unique each class can actually be. I like less classes a little bit better than more classes. So I'm thinking maybe 5, maybe 4. Who knows? Maybe I'll break down and just do 10. But the idea is that they'll choose their class, and then they'll get teleported into this room. And so from this room, they'll also be waiting to fight the boss, but then there'll probably be a sign somewhere over here that they can click to actually begin the boss fight. So everybody in this room will begin the boss fight, and then back here, there'll probably be signs that you can select which boss you're actually going to fight. So there'll probably be like, you can choose this boss, and then it'll highlight the sign, put a little outline around it so that you know which boss you're fighting. And then you can just go ahead and click the sign. And I'll probably even have a sign that allows you to fight a random boss every time. And then once you do that, then you'll get teleported in here, and you'll fight the boss. If you die, you lose and you get sent back. If you defeat him, then you'll win. And I haven't actually thought this part through. I don't know what the purpose of defeating the boss is. It sort of seems like it's just you're trying to defeat the boss. Maybe I'll work in some sort of an economy system. So maybe you'll have to actually purchase some of these different classes to unlock them, or purchase some of the different bosses to unlock them. So you have to defeat one boss in order to get rewarded, and then purchase the other things, the other bosses. So that's the basic layout. If you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see what I can do about applying them. So let's start working on some programming. So here we are in the spawn chunks. This is where I put all of my redstone. It is about 10,000 blocks away from the gameplay area. And the reason for this is because I don't want the players to actually have this area loaded. It's just a way of reducing lag. So this is where I put all of my clocks and just everything, because these chunks are always loaded, so you can do some crazy things where you have like clone commands in case you want to load something over there. These are the spawn chunks. This is where we do stuff. And here we have a clock. So this clock is my favorite kind of clock. It is a fill replace clock. So it's filling this region above it and that direction with redstone blocks, but it's only replacing red wool. So if I grab some red wool and I place it, you'll see that it changes into a redstone block, and that's because it's now clocking, but I can just immediately remove it. This way, this is my way of customizing clocks a little bit better, which things are on, which things are off, instead of just having a set dimension, a set size of how many redstone blocks I want. I can easily customize it. I can throw one down here, and it's just, I like it a whole lot better. So the next step to pretty much any map is working on the mechanics. You need to prototype and figure out how the mechanics are going to work in order for your map to be successful. You need to work on the mechanics. So that's what I'm going to do. This is just a prototype. I'm just going to prototype this, but I'm thinking about how we're going to have the boss fights play out. what we're probably going to have is we're going to have the specific boss. So let's say that we're going to fight an Enderman. So we're going to have an execute command that executes at an Enderman. Type equals Ender, is it men or man? I don't know. We'll do that, and it'll set a redstone block. It'll activate a random attack or a random event. But we only want this to happen every so often. So we'll add a scoreboard objective. Scoreboard objectives add, and we'll call it attack timer. And it'll be a dummy objective. So the attack timer is going to be the delay between when the boss attacks and when the boss is done attacking. So, well, not done attacking, but it's the delay between when the boss activates a special attack. That's how I did it in Cryptcrawler, but perhaps for this map, that might not be the best. I have to think about this a little bit. That's why we are prototyping, because we want to figure it out. So for score underscore attack timer, has to be at least, let's see, 120. So that's 120 ticks, because I'm gonna have it add the attack timer every tick. That's 6 seconds. 6 seconds between attacks. That might not be the best. Let's make it 10 seconds. Yes. So every 10 seconds, this command will execute. Let's actually add this. Scoreboard players add at e type equals Enderman. We're going to add 1 to attack timer every tick. So if we go ahead and scoreboard objectives set display sidebar attack timer, and then we summon an Enderman. Enderman. It's not working. I do that a lot. So now the Enderman is tracking how long it's been since it's attacked. And it keeps on teleporting. That's obnoxious. Let's go ahead and entity data him so that he has no AI. You get to see the how I do it now. This is the truth. It's actually rather boring and simple. So now he should not teleport, and I shouldn't be able to nudge him. Yes. So now he's stuck, and you'll notice that the attack timer is constantly adding up. So every 200 seconds, we're going to have to remove it. Remove at e Enderman score underscore attack timer min equals 200. So once it reaches 200, we're going to remove 200 from the score of attack timer. So you'll notice on the sidebar, it's counting up, but once it reaches 200, then it should go back to 0. Yes, it does. So how I'm doing this is I'm using the order of command execution. This right here is just an example of that, but it's going to execute from this direction to that direction in this specific instance. So first off, we're going to add 1 to the attack timer score. Then we're going to execute the random event once the attack timer has been 10 seconds, and then we're going to reset it so that it can count down to the next special attack. So now we need to add something to this. It's just an empty execute command. Well, we need to add a randomizer. So let's go ahead and I'm going to come over here to start adding a randomizer. And actually, I kind of want to, because I'm going to have different bosses, I kind of want to separate each boss, give each boss their own clock, each boss their own attack timer, just each boss their own thing, because you're not going to be fighting multiple bosses at the same time. So it would make sense to turn off the clocks and turn them on depending on which boss you're actually fighting. We could easily just clone this clock over, put it right there. And that should be working. Let's give that a shot. So keeping with the rule of 30 or 63, we're not going to have all of these clocks running in the same chunk at the same time. We're going to turn one of them off. So that one's now off, and so this one would be the only one that's activating. So let's say this one's for the Enderman boss, but this one is for the zombie boss, and there would just be a different clock for each boss. I think that'll work good. So we're going to do that, but we can set that up at a later time. Right now, we're just working on the basic way that we're going to be executing these commands. So right here, we're going to set up a randomizer. So we're going to have a set block. This is just the reset, and we're going to have it set the block one above to a wool that is white, so wool 0. So when I place a redstone block right here, it should change it to a white wool. And then right here, we'll have our random attack. So we're just gonna have it say, because we haven't programmed the actual attacks yet. So it's going to be a say command. And then above that, we're going to have an armor stand that is random. And actually, I have one of those. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. I have one of those in a separate world. So I'm going to go grab that because I'm lazy. Spoilers, by the way. And I'm going to fly over here. This is some randomizers. And right here we have the command to give myself an armor stand. I'm just going to copy that. And then jump back into my 1000 boss battles map. So now we can paste this. We're going to change the name to Enderman Random. So now we can give ourselves this thing. This is actually a neat little trick. You can give yourself armor stands with data already in them using the entity tag. And then when you place it down, like I just placed it down a small armor stand and it has no base plate. So that's pretty cool. And this one is going to be a set block. Wait. Needs to be another execute command. At E, type equals armor stand, name equals Enderman random. And now it's going to be a set block. -2? Yes, -2. And then Minecraft redstone block. I capitalize a lot of things that don't actually need to be capitalized, as you've probably noticed. So now, when it reaches 200, you should see this flash into a redstone block. Yes, it did. And it says random attack right there. So that's working out good. So if we just copy that over a few more times, we can have as many random attacks as we want. Let's just keep copying that. Let's give ourselves another one of these because I deleted it. My inventory gets full, so I just delete it all the time. So now it should, every 10 seconds, initiate a random attack. Oh. See, this is prototyping, guys. Prototyping. Because it's executing at all of the entities that are random. But we just want it to do 1. So we're going to do C equals 1, which is count equals 1. So now it should only activate for 1. 200. Boom. 1. So that's the basics of how we're going to be doing the boss fights. So I'm going to be building the rest of this, or at least more of this, in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, please leave any feedback or suggestions for how I can improve the series and how I can improve the map. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day.